So our subtopic is heat capacity. Heat capacity is denoted using a capital letter C. So make note of that. You know the difference between a capital letter C and a small letter c is the size. So you shouldn't be keen because there is another quantity that will be representing using a small letter c. So for heat capacity, denoted using a capital letter C. And we want to define what heat capacity is. Now when we talk of heat capacity, it refers to the amount of heat that is required by a given mass of a substance to raise its temperature by 1 Kelvin. So it is the amount, it refers to the quantity or simply the amount. It is the amount, it is the amount of heat energy required by a given mass of a substance to raise its temperature by 1 Kelvin. Or we can simply say it is the amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature of a given mass of a substance by 1 Kelvin. You can put it in your own words, provided that you make note of the key ones, the amount of heat energy, then we have a given mass of a substance, and we have raising the temperature by 1 Kelvin. So the amount of heat energy that is required to raise the temperature of a given mass of a substance by 1 Kelvin is what we are referring to as heat capacity. And therefore from this we can say that heat capacity denoted by capital letter C will be equal to heat energy absorbed, and the heat is represented using letter Q divided by the change in temperature, and this change is in Kelvin, represented by this change in temperature. So that is heat capacity, therefore equal to heat energy absorbed, Q, divided by the change in temperature, that is change in temperature. And therefore, we can have the following for our heat capacity. So therefore, it means that if we now use the symbols, heat capacity will therefore be equal to heat energy divided by the change in temperature. So that is what we have. Heat capacity is equal to heat energy divided by the change in temperature. And therefore, from this we can be able to get the SI unit of heat capacity C, capital letter C, is, we can get it from the formula. What are the units of heat energy? Joules. So we have joules there, divided by change in temperature. The unit for temperature is Kelvin. So we have Kelvin, K. And therefore the SI unit is joules per Kelvin. So we have joules per Kelvin. The SI unit of heat capacity is joules per Kelvin, which we can write as that the whole one, joules per Kelvin, or simply joules per Kelvin. Or we can write it this way, joules as that. So that is the SI unit of heat capacity. So heat capacity is the quantity of heat divided by the change in temperature. So that is what we have. So we are going to do a question on heat capacity. We'll do an example. An example for quantity of heat that is on heat capacity. Example 1. We are told calculate calculate the quantity So that's the question. We are told calculate the quantity of heat required to raise the temperature of a metal block with a heat capacity of 600 joules per Kelvin from 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. So we want to calculate the quantity of heat. So from this formula, we can be able to get the heat capacity, the quantity of heat, or the change in temperature. So depending with the question. So in this one, we are told to calculate the quantity of heat. So calculate the quantity of heat. So quantity of heat is in question, and quantity of heat is represented using Q. To raise the temperature of a metal block with heat capacity, we have been given the heat capacity 600 joules per Kelvin. And we are told that the temperature, the initial temperature is 20 degrees Celsius and the final temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. So from this we'll be able to get the change in temperature. So we have this, and therefore we know that heat capacity is equal to quantity of heat divided by the change in temperature. So we can make the quantity of heat the subject by cross multiplying. So we'll have that our Q will be equal to our heat capacity multiplied by the change in temperature. So heat capacity multiplied by change in temperature. We have the heat capacity in its SI unit, so we need to get the change in temperature. So change in temperature will now be given by our final temperature minus our initial temperature, which is 30 degrees Celsius minus 20 degrees Celsius. Now, maybe you may be asking, our answer will be in degrees Celsius, yet we want it to be in Kelvin. I would like you to note that the change will just be the same, whether it is in degrees Celsius or in Kelvin. Because, for example, if we calculate here using the degrees Celsius, our change will be 10. It can now be our 10 Kelvin. Because even if we convert this into Kelvin and this into Kelvin, then we get the change, we still have the same, because our initial temperature will be 273 plus 20, because we add 273 to get in Kelvin, which is 293 Kelvin. Then the final temperature will be 273 plus 30, which will be 303 Kelvin. So it means that the change in temperature will be 303 minus 293. And 303 minus 293 will still be 10. So the change, you don't need to change to convert this into Kelvin, this one into Kelvin, so as to get the change. No, even if you are given in degrees Celsius, just get the change will be the same. So from this, finally, we can get that our Q will be the heat capacity, which is 600 joules per Kelvin, multiplied by change in temperature, which is 10 Kelvin. So the Kelvin will cancel. So we end up getting 600 times 10. We end up getting our answer as 6,000, and these are joules. So our quantity of heat, or the quantity of heat that will be required, therefore means that it will be 6,000. Take. So that is it. So here we have been able to calculate the quantity of heat when we have been given the heat capacity, and when we have also been given the change in temperature. We have been given that it is changing from 20 to 30, and so the change is 10. And therefore, from this Q will be C times change in temperature. Our C is 600 joules per Kelvin. then our change is 10 Kelvin. We end up getting 6,000 joules, or simply 6 kilojoules. So I'd like to leave you with a question on heat capacity. So an assignment for you. So that's the question. You are told an electrical heater rated 240 volts, 3 amperes raises the temperature of liquid X from 25 degrees Celsius to 55 degrees Celsius in 10 minutes. Calculate the heat capacity of liquid X. So in this one, we are heating by electrical method. So I'd like to give you a hint on this, even as you calculate the heat capacity. Remember from the heating effect of an electric current, a previous topic in Form 3 in Joules law. We say that heat H, or we can represent it using our Q, is given by current squared multiplied by the resistance multiplied by the time, which we call the Joules law. So also you remember from Ohm's law, V is equal to IR, and because we don't have resistance in our case, we can make R the subject, so R will be V all over I, meaning that our equation will be heat will be equal to I squared multiplied by R, which is V all over I, multiplied by T. So this current will cancel, we remain with one current here. So we have heat will be equal to IVT, which is simply VI or IV is power. So power times time gives us heat. So when you are calculating the heat energy or the quantity of heat, you simply have VIT. So make use of this, and then you'll be in a position to calculate the heat capacity of the liquid. So that is on heat capacity. We've said heat capacity is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of a given mass of a substance by 1 Kelvin. And we have been able to see that the SI unit of heat capacity is joules per Kelvin. And therefore, during our next lesson, we now look at specific heat capacity. We'll define and also we'll be able to do some calculations. So thank you till we meet during our other lesson.